And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Anime Church, the church where you can cosplay, and we won't judge you for it. I'm Richie Roberts, your Minister of Science and Technology.
I'm Fenisard, and your patron saint to snackos and alcohol. Fuck, I need more coffee.
as you can tell from the title, some stuff happened this week. Yeah, maybe we'll get into it. We will definitely get into it. Uh so yeah. I don't have anything other than just like, hey guys, we're still waiting on the copyright process to go through for Slime because like we uploaded it 8 days ago, and the copyright we've got here is saying, hey, copyright was found, but you can share ad revenue with the copyright owners. And I'm like, oh, wait, what? Because this never happens to us. We never get like share. It's usually claim, we appeal, all that stuff. So we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And it's been
It
8 days and it
might
hasn't
drop
dropped.
once
Once
it might drop once we actually confirm.
once you make it public, yeah. So we got at least another 6 days that we would usually wait. So who knows? Maybe the episode will be up on Friday, which is looking like it might be. But that's Slime 10, guys. Slime 10 is up on the channel. It's available for everybody on Patreon right now who is a paid member. It doesn't matter what tier, whether you're at the lowest tier or the highest tier, everyone can watch it if you want to. All right, that's pretty much all the Fat Dog stuff I got that I can talk about right now. Yeah, let's get on with the rest of the show. Let me turn on. No, not spoiler alert, you dummy. There's anime news. Yay! All right, so, pardon me. If you didn't know, Oda actually showed up in Cape Town on the set of the season 3 live action of One Piece. And he got to hang around and see Alabasta, which is kind of a big deal for him because Alabasta was originally where he planned to end the story. But that didn't happen. It kept going, and that's okay. But yeah, Alabasta was
Much
where
to
he was
probably his joy and chagrin because, yeah.
Yeah, he was originally thinking of ending it in Alabasta, but he said like he couldn't because there was so much more that they could do, like the crew could do. So, yeah, that's where we're at on this. He showed up to do that, and then the internet was the internet. And so I'm going to play for you because I can't find the original video for some reason. It's just people covering the video. And I'm like, okay. So here we go.
Oda finally got to see Alabasta in real life, and of course, One Piece fans ruined it. Now, One Piece Netflix...
Also, okay, first off, don't say One Piece fans, because some of us were genuinely happy for Oda that he got to, like, visit the set, and, like, that, you know, he got to see live action Alabasta. It's not all of us. Don't lump all of us in with, like, together. That's not how this works. Some One Piece fans, please at least say that.
Shared this video of Oda visiting the live-action Alabasta set in Cape Town. And why this is so meaningful is because when Oda first created One Piece, he only planned for the story to go as far as Alabasta, and he actually intended for the series to end there, never imagining it would be what it is now. So for Oda to go from drawing manga panels to standing inside a real desert kingdom watching Alabasta be brought to life in the real world is genuinely beautiful, is an insane full circle.
I also love that he's drawing Luffy in the sand. I thought that was awesome. Like, you know, you've drawn a character a lot when you can just put your finger in the sand and draw that character.
Yep.
Moment. And Oda drawing Luffy's face in the sand is a perfect embodiment of what that moment means. But instead of celebrating it, the entire post is filled with people telling Oda to get back to work and keep writing the manga like a good boy.
So yeah. It's not like Oda's been doing that for like almost 30 plus years. And the fact that he has had to take breaks due to health issues, stuff like this. What do you got to say? What do you want to say, Fenris? Because I'm kind of holding
That
back.
is some That is some fucked up entitled bullshit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I absolutely agree. But yeah, say what if you want to say more, feel free to say more, man. Let us
No,
know.
that's like just that's it, because there's nothing else to really say. That sums it up for me.
Once again, guys, this is not all of us. This is not all One Piece fans. Some of us are reasonable freaking human beings. Some of us can be like, oh, that's really cool. What an amazing thing that must have been for Oda to like actually be there, be on set and see everybody. And like also Oda and Iñaki are buddies. Like they meet up all the time when they can. And like Oda loves Iñaki because he says he's basically the embodiment of Luffy, like because of how energetic and everything he is. And
God damn, that is such a fucking compliment.
Right? And also, like, Iñaki learned Japanese. Like, he speaks Japanese pretty damn well. And that's like his, what, third language? But he speaks Japanese specifically so that he could, like, understand what Oda was saying and not constantly need a translator. Because he wanted to be able to talk to Oda directly. You know, just be able to converse, chat. And I think that's really, really cool. But yeah, dude, guys, let Oda be Oda. Let him just, he deserves to like take the time out and go over and see, you know, this live action version of his creation. This is his baby, and he's still very much in charge of this project. If Oda doesn't greenlight it, they don't make it. So yeah, let us know how you feel in the comments or in the chat. I'm really eager to hear you guys sound off, and I definitely want to see what kind of names you'll be using for this. All right, we've got a lot of heavy shit to talk about. I just wanted to have one thing that was just it's a representation of lightheartedness, silliness, and also this is absolutely what happens when you get a bunch of VTubers together.
Oh, wait, how do we get up?
So first off, ladies and gentlemen, up top, my Kamiyoshi. Yep. All right, here we go.
There.
We need a block.
Wait.
Can you handle a block from down here? Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, perfect.
I have a stick.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I think that's
This
too
is
small.
not even close.
Oh, wait.
Sorry,
oh,
Phil.
I love you, Arna.
Oh, we got it. She's coming.
The Simpsons, like, why are you
Whoa. Wait, that's
Here,
a
I'll
big
hold
Wait,
it
we're
for you
gaming? We're
guys.
gaming?
Yeah.
You're just like,
Ooh, nice.
It worked.
Whoa.
Oh, it
You're
worked.
freaking
Nice.
working it. Yeah.
Wait.
Holy crap.
Wait, I'm
Whoa.
just dancing.
Wait, does anyone
wait,
else
guys,
see
guys,
it?
wait,
Stupid. Wait, hold on.
Oh.
Well, that
Oh.
that is not intuitive.
Yep.
Something tells me we should have probably ended with this, because this is like a great light-hearted laugh that we're probably gonna need.
We are definitely gonna need that. Yeah. But also, I thought it would be nice to have something fun to talk about before we have to jump into all this stuff. Okay. And our last thing in general, the comic publisher Dark Horse's workers are forming a union. Employees at Dark Horse Comics and its retail store, Things from Another World, have formed a union on Wednesday named Dark Horse Workers United, affiliated with the Communication Workers of America. The union is seeking equitable pay, workplace democracy, and a continued commitment to creator-owned comics. The union is seeking voluntary recognition for from Dark Horse Comics and its interim CEO, Jay Comas, by June 3rd. If the company does not recognize the union by then, the union will petition the National Labor Relations Board for an election. The union cites looming uncertainty from recent layoffs, wage/hiring freeze, change in leadership power, emergence of artificial intelligence, and return to office policies despite their economic impact on employees as the reason for its collective organization. Publishing company Seven Seas Entertainment voluntarily recognized the United Workers of Seven Seas, a union for its employees, in 2022. Like Dark Horse Workers United, UW7S is affiliated with the CWA. Should Dark Horse Workers United be voluntarily recognized or win an election, it will be the third U.S. comic publisher to form a union affiliated with the CWA, with the first being workers at Image Comics and the second being UW7S. Employees at Abrams Books and its manga and comic book focused division, Abrams Comic Arts, also recently formed a union in 2025, but part of a UAW Local 2110. Boy. So Dark Horse Media's parent company, Embracer Group, announced on May 20th that it plans to split the group into two publicly listed companies through the spinoff of Fellowship Entertainment. The board plans to list Fellowship Entertainment, which will include Dark Horse Media, on the Nasdaq Stockholm Stock Exchange in 2027. Fellowship Entertainment aims to become an IP-led entertainment company built around game development, publishing, and licensing. The company will include Dark Horse Media and several other companies. Its IPs include The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and Tomb Raider. Dark Horse Comics announced on May 21st that it would shutter all three of its Things from Another World retail locations from June to September later this year. Embracer Group began acquiring Dark Horse Comics in December 2021 and completed the acquisition in March 2022. The acquisition was part of the company's spree of acquisitions of media and game companies beginning in 2019. After a planned $2 billion investment from Savvy Games Group, a company owned by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, did not go through as planned in May 2023, the company found itself in debt, with the company soon planning restructuring, leading to mass layoffs. The sale of properties and subsidiary companies and the three-company split from April 2024. Dark Horse Comics founder and CEO Mike Richardson departed the company earlier this year in March after 40 years with the company. Jay Comas, the general manager of Dark Horse's owners with Embracer Group, Middle-earth Enterprises, is serving as interim CEO. Richardson founded Dark Horse Comics in 1986 as an offshoot of his comic book store chain, Things from Another World. The company published its first manga, Godzilla King of the Monsters, in 1987. Dark Horse confirmed in January of 2025 it had begun laying off staff positions. Dark Horse stated at the time it was responding to increasing overhead, changing market conditions, and external economic factors. Well, there we are. So the workers at Dark Horse are forming a union. Thoughts?
I'm kind of biased because I am in a union and it is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But I know that some unions are not as awesome.
Yeah. So
it's mixed bag.
I believe in workers having collective bargaining rights, but I also believe in and not ripping off employers or employees as well. If you take too much for quote unquote union dues. But I also know that there's a lot of people who are not affiliated with the union that get a lot of the perks from unions of like.
So there, depending on the union, some states it's illegal for unions to collect dues from, but they still get union representation because they work for the company.
Ah, gotcha. Interesting. Alrighty. Well, there we go. This is our last general thing. Now we're going to get into some heavy shit real quick. As we reported last week, Bungie officially announced that June 9th will be the final update to Destiny. Destiny 2 specifically. And they will no longer be doing any content updates or patches to the game or upkeep. But the servers will stay open. And you will be able to play. And so the game's not going down. It's just they're no longer supporting Destiny. That's where we're at. And as time has gone on, boy, has more news come out and lots of other things. And we're going to cover that and kind of give our thoughts on it. So, per Jason Schreier over on LinkedIn, Bungie is planning a significant layoff following the end of Destiny 2's development. Destiny 3 is not in active production. Some Bungie staff are pitching and prototyping new ideas, including Destiny games, but none are yet greenlit. So, not overly surprising that they're going to downsize again. This is like the third time that Bungie has had layoffs coming in the last, 4 years. Like, goodness gracious. I also did want to have something here that was
admit it and go out of fucking business already.
Yeah. So at this point in time, I also want to point out something that was actually kind of nice and heartwarming. Warframe leads join fans mourning Destiny 2. There is no Warframe without the legacy of Bungie games. I'm saying goodbye to the only lasting pillar I had to look up to. Warframe creative director, oh goodness, get out of there, Reb Ford, and designer-director Pablo Alonso joined Destiny 2 fans mourning the game following the end of development announcement last week by Bungie. Though Warframe actually predates Destiny, the two games have long been compared as giants of the loosely defined live service looter-shooter space, and they have shared many players. Ford and Alonso, like many others at developer Digital Extremes, were clearly big fans of Destiny and are sad to see it go. Reb relates her history with Bungie's work going back to playing Halo 3 at 16. There is no Warframe without the legacy of Bungie games, she says. Destiny was and is a force of nature, loved and held in the hands of so many people who, for a moment, were part of the biggest thing in gaming, she adds. Then comes the words summarized crudely, the end. Destiny 2 will remain playable going forward, and Bungie and studio owner Sony have not openly killed off the IP, but the game will not get any additional updates, and the franchise has no known entries in the works. Bungie's only other release is Marathon, which is quite shy of a smash hit, so the studio's waters are choppy. Yep. The whole gaming industry is kind of sounding off on that decision. Boy, oh boy, do people have thoughts, and we'll get into that momentarily. And other news, apparently, with some of the internal drama, because now devs are like, what are they going to do? Fire us? It's already happening. So they're just straight up telling people now. Bungie's internal drama. Destiny 2 devs were reportedly scolded over microtransaction shortfall. In the ever-evolving world of game development, few studios wear as many battle scars as Bungie. From bringing Halo to redefining online shooters with Destiny 2, the studio has built a legacy, but lately it's been more about making headlines than high scores. The latest twist? Reports are surfacing that Destiny 2 developers were given a literal scolding for not pushing enough microtransactions. Yes, the studio's upper management wanted players to not only grind for loot, but also for their wallets. As if that wasn't enough, there's a report that they were floating the idea of a full-blown subscription service. Yeah. No, thank you. That definitely would have been the end of Destiny if they tried to do a subscription service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to cover this before we start going into some of the updates or some of the stuff they announced in the update?
No, let's keep going.
Okay. All right. So, going over to Bungie.net, they dropped several dev insights, guys. On top of a TWAB, which is the longest TWAB or TWID or whatever the hell you want to call it, the longest one ever. They also dropped two big dev insights. So, the second one pertains mostly to PvP stuff, but this is your overall stuff. All right, so the director is coming back, which is a thing we've been asking for over a year, since the Fate saga began, because they got rid of the director and replaced it with a god-awful portal that looked like just about every fucking generic menu in a video game ever. And they kind of sort of got rid of it. This is what it's going to look like now. We're going back to the director, which I think is a much cleaner thing. It shows all of your locations. And I like the idea of seeing not only, hey, this is where I can go, where it pertains in our solar system, but also it just looks nicer to look out and see like space out there. It's one of those things that kind of made Destiny unique in the fact that this is where you can pick where you want to go. You just click onto a location and then it'll bring up that map and you can fast travel in there. But they do have some of the portal stuff still on there, which is the stuff down at the bottom, which is PvP, Crucible, Gambit, the raids, whole bunch of stuff. Now, this is what's been really, really interesting. Destination and patrol updates. Yeah, patrols are coming back and actually being legit in the world. So all the destination loot pools have been updated to the modern point of Destiny right now. So all the weapons now are on the weapon tiered systems, and their power is at the current power level of everything else in the game. But they've also introduced another thing. They're also bringing back all of the seasonal weapons and all of the weapons from, like, so they just unvaulted all of the weapons and retooled and updated them to where things are now. So they just unpacked everything and they're just dropping it out. If nothing else, the devs, we can tell the devs have been listening because the devs just gave us everything. They're like, hey, here's all the shit you've been asking for, and here's some shit you didn't think we'd ever give you. Kind of what happened there. But yeah, they have been introducing not only old stuff, but they get origin traits, which are specific to the manufacturer. And you can still do random rolls and a bit of build crafting together at the same time. So just kind of fusing some build crafting and also that chase for the RNG for that perfect god roll to keep things interesting, which I think is much better than like how things were before, where it was either all RNG or you had to go to the weapon crafting area on Mars to like make it and pick and choose. And so they introduced kind of a bit of both in this, and I think that's a much better balance than what we had before. And they're also showing a bunch of the Arsenal some of the original traits for specifically this one in Rasputin. And they're talking about more of the location stuff, how they're bringing back old stuff from Nessus. And not only that, but now every single exotic in the game is going to come with a catalyst. And that catalyst will not simply be making the gun look different. It will apply a modifier or an effect to the gun that will either enhance its damage or its range, will be a stat increase of some sort. So not only are there catalysts for every exotic weapon in the game now, but catalysts actually matter for your gunplay. So yeah, they're bringing back, they're showing a lot of, okay, here we go. Distorted destinations. There we go. Patrolling the system. Over the past few years, Destiny 2 has focused more attention on structured campaigns, exciting playlists, and challenging cooperative activities. This has led to patrol mode feeling left behind. Without strong rewards or a clear reason to return, many players have little incentive to explore the wilds of Sol. To remind Guardians of the allure of wandering these worlds, we're introducing a new feature on 7 destinations: distortions. Every hour, a different destination becomes the focus of distortions. The sky tears open, reality distorts, and corruption spreads. While distorted, the planet's enemies are empowered and more fearsome. So as you can see here up in the sky, you've got this distortion here on the Cosmodrome, and then on the moon. And then I think this is also still the Cosmodrome right here, but you can see like how the enemies look different now during the distortion phase. Distortions are our new enhancement to patrol mode. They're a celebration of all the things that are already there, plus a small injection of new things to do and new rewards to discover. Our main goal with this feature was to support what we call the public loop, the connected areas that players patrol when they can, where they can encounter other Guardians and work together on shared goals. We've leaned into all the fun little things that are already there, then added a little twist. And there we go. We've also got it showing up in Savathun's throne world. Every enemy will become distorted too, making them tougher, more aggressive, and a little more dangerous. Distortions won't massively change the low-stress nature of patrol, but you may occasionally find an encounter that tests the skills of even veteran Guardians. You'll also discover some major changes in new places and some strange signals leading to hidden rewards. They're also going to make public events even harder. So if you do the heroic version of public events, you'll get higher tiered loot that comes with the difficulty. So if you're trying to chase like a good roll of a weapon and you want to have it at a higher tier as opposed to the regular tier 3s that are going to drop commonly, if you want to try and see if you can get that tier 4, tier 5 weapon, finding out where the distortion is in any location is a good way to find that out. And it seems right here in this view of the director, you see Europa has like this little red icon next to it. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that's an indication of the distortion, of where the distortion's located, because it's not on any of the other places. Speaking of rewards, we're making distortions uniquely rewarding by providing a new weapon set players can earn in these new events. And to balance the increased challenge of distorted enemies, you'll see higher gear tiers awarded from playing public events. Yep. Like what I just...
You know, we have a distortion. It's quite the devil.
Good times, good times. Oh, Connor. Excited to check out distortions? Look for the telltale red glow and keep an eye on the timer telling you when a new planet will be targeted. So they've overhauled the portal as well to make things a little more streamlined, I guess you could say. Also, guys, if you want a more in-depth breakdown of all this, I highly recommend checking out some of the content creators over on Destiny, like Astacross, Evase, Rick Kakis, people like that who will go through this entire thing and sound way more excited than I will, because they understand like the meta and the numbers game of Destiny way better than I do. As much as I played Destiny, I'm still well aware that in comparison, I am a filthy casual, and that's okay. But yeah, there are new fire team ops that they have added. So Heist Battleground Mars, the Disgrace, the Lightblade, Scarlet Keep, the Corrupted, Lake of Shadows, new Pinnacle ops, Operation Seraph Shield, 0 Hour, and new Arena ops, Override. There are now difficulty and reward updates that are being posted here. They're going to significantly show the difficulty in certain places and the tiered loot you can get from that. And this is, I believe, for... Yeah, these are for like your sweatier players. They're still keeping Ultimate around, even though you don't have to do Ultimate, but it's like for the sweat lords who just want those super bragging rights. For Crucible modes, grade A and higher will yield tier 5 loot drops. So that's good to know. But what's the role of modifiers now? It is in this simplified world, mods exist to allow higher scores to be reached without stepping on the difficulty level to offset the cost of any selected boons and to provide an additional, completely optional challenge. So think of it kind of like, okay, so modifiers, think of it like skulls from Halo, right? Like they will add modifiers to your game to make things a little bit tougher, but it's not going to affect your overall ranking or your score. It's mostly there to be a challenge and for bragging rights. So
Okay. You know what? Just saying.
Yeah.
Since 343 refuses to do it, if Bungie wants to get back in the gamer's good graces, give us season 2 of Spartan Ops.
They can't do that. They don't legally hold the rights to Halo anymore.
They could do it in Destiny. Call it Destiny Ops.
They're not going to be doing any updates to Destiny after the 9th, at least not for D2, unless they're planning on dropping some more Destiny content later.
Okay, you know what?
Kinda highly
Somebody
doubt
can
it.
make a mod.
True, somebody can make a mod. That is absolutely true. But yes, more loot variety, Onslaught, Contest of Elders, and the Coil. So Onslaught is coming back, and that's the stuff that they had for leading right up to Lightfall, which was the quote-unquote horde mode that they added to the game that was a hell of a lot of fun. So Onslaught's coming back. They've made a bunch of changes, a bunch of improvements. Same with Contest of Elders. So the Prison of Elders stuff has been back, but it's like they're touching it up and making it better. Elevating Gambit. Holy shit, the thing we've been asking for since Forsaken. Oh my god, they finally went and started actually doing things within Gambit to make it where we would actually give a shit and come back and play Gambit. Oh my god. These are things we've been screaming at them for a long time to please, please, please do. Return to the Dark Age. Yep, so we're going to we're getting more old school stuff because they've updated the loot pool for Gambit, and these are specific Gambit only weapons and armor that they have brought back and put into the current tiered system.
Okay. I have to
everything.
stop you right there.
Go for it.
Because I have a couple questions.
Yes.
1, where's the Creole accent? 2, I thought Gambit only used playing cards.
Okay. No. Okay. First off, Gambit is the game mode. It's the Drifter that does it. He doesn't have a Creole accent, but he does talk like this. And it is Todd Habercorn. I would love to hear Todd Habercorn with a Creole accent. That shit would be hilarious. But yeah,
the cameo. You can pay him to do it.
that's also true. Also they're talking about new frames and stuff. They introduced a whole shit ton of weapons, including seasonal content weapons that just got vaulted after the season was over. Dude, the FOMO is probably the biggest thing that killed this game. I'm gonna be honest. Heavier, more metallic. Oh yeah, they brought back heavy metal. The only difference now is you have more options, and instead of Team Brig or Team Drake or Team Behemoth, you can just choose which one you want to play as. So other people on your team could have a tank, or they could be in a Brig, or they could be in a Behemoth, and you can be in whatever you want. You're not stuck with the whole team is this now. Everybody can pick their own individual vehicle. And this mode is literally just the kickback and relax mode. You're not taking things too seriously. This is like big machine blow up other big machine. That is what this is. And they added 2 more maps too. Holy shit. I loved it when we played heavy metal before, and that was when we had less options to choose from. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. The Cabal Walker getting added was a nice touch. I've
always been more partial to twisted metal, but you do
that's
you, boo.
fair. Yeah. To keep matches feeling faster and punchier, we've lowered the score needed to win from 50 to 40. It's a small change, but one aimed at making the mode feel snappier without losing the vehicle combat chaos that makes heavy metal what it is. Heavy metal is also getting a brand new map, Nightfall Station. If that sounds familiar, it should. The space is adapted from the wreckage of the vessel from the Renegades campaign, now reworked into a heavy metal battlefield built for vehicle combat. And this is a shot of what it looks like. And this is another shot of what it... I love this version, the kind of overgrown, slightly Taken-esque version of it. Looks very good. Yes, and here we go. Sparrow Racing League. We have not had this at all in Destiny 2. This was a thing that was in Destiny 1, and it was only available for a short time. Not only did they bring it back, but this is now a permanent edition within Destiny 2. So yes, Sparrow Racing is back, and it's not just racing on sparrows. You can also use your skimmer or your surfboard, hoverboard thing. You can use that. They have balanced things out so that one is not better than the other, so that, you know, it's kind of even playing field. So there are certain abilities that you have in a skimmer and certain abilities that you have in a sparrow that you would normally have. Those abilities have been taken away for Sparrow Racing League to make things more interesting. There are rewards to chase here in both weapon, transmog, and armor types, and they've brought back the old music that everybody loved from it, and apparently they've added a track or two, which the Destiny music has always been good. I've loved the Destiny music. But yeah, I'm digging this. I have not done Sparrow Racing in such a long time, and they've also apparently added maps. Then they're showing some of the rewards that you can get. Oh, another thing that we noticed, they brought back they're bringing back the horns for the sparrows, so you can have your customized horn sound. So other things that you could chase. And here's a look at some of the weapons that you can get from Sparrow Racing League. And I gotta say, these look fucking clean. These look really good. The design crew for weapons has always been really good in Destiny. Like, the gunplay is something that I think they definitely get. But I especially love how this sword looks. Like, that looks neat. But yeah, these are some of the things you can chase, and that's just one aspect. There's two other things, and I didn't want to go over it all because we'd be here all day. But there's major updates to PvP where they've done some sandbox balancing and a whole bunch of other stuff. They had a whole thing about the weapons that they went into more detail with. Lots more PvE things. They have said that one of the things that they've taken out is the seasonal content, or rather the annual content that comes out during like specific times. So there will be no Halloween, Christmas, spring festival, any of those things. None of the normal yearly stuff that we would get in Destiny will be happening in Destiny 2 from now on, because there's not going to be any upkeep going on with that whatsoever. So yeah. So this is how it goes. Now, a lot of us are planning on coming back to Destiny just to play it for a bit on June 9th. I'm probably going to play it for a week or two. I might stream it. There's a lot of stuff in there. And yes, I am aware of the Destiny 3 petition. I have signed it. There's over 300,000 signatures. I know if you're rolling your eyes right now, I totally understand. This petition's not going to make Sony make a Destiny 3 or make Bungie make a Destiny 3. I'm absolutely aware of that. But I want to, lend my voice to this community to say, hey, people out here care about this kind of stuff. Like, the reason we went away isn't because the game was shit. It's because choices were made that ruined the fun we were having. This game has so much potential. Even people that you wouldn't think that gave up on this game back in Lightfall and never got to play the amazing shit that was the final shape are talking about how much potential this has, and this move to just kill Destiny and go all in on Marathon makes no sense. And we're just all very confused and kind of upset. That being said, we'll get to that in a moment. Anything you want to add for these updates? While
you were speaking a completely another language to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Basically the devs cooked, and they didn't have apparently they were just told. I guess a lot of this was what was supposed to be coming out over the next expansion or two. And since they're not doing it, they're just putting it all out there. So it's very much we asked for a hand sandwich and they gave us a whole pig, a whole roast pig. So way more than we asked for or ever thought that we would get. Sparrow Racing League was a huge fucking surprise. None of us thought that was ever coming. And then it just happened. And they spent a lot of time taking a shit ton of gear and retooling it to match modern Destiny where it is right now. So yeah, you can tell there's a lot of love and a lot of care in this update. I want, again, guys, I'm not going to go into everything. please check out some of the other Destiny content creators if you want to know more about this. All right. Some other things that came out this week, because devs, once again, don't give a fuck anymore. They're like, oh yeah, I know we're probably getting fired or laid off or whatever. So they're just spilling tea. Bungie reportedly considered relaunching Destiny as Destiny Infinity before deciding to pull the plug on Destiny 2. Bungie's issues with its story sci-fi shooter Destiny 2 began around the time of last summer's Edge of Fate expansion, which reportedly underperformed. The decision to pull the plug was allegedly made earlier this year after deciding not to relaunch the franchise as Destiny Infinity. That's according to Forbes, which said the Sony-owned studio began discussing different scenarios about what the future of Destiny 2 would look like. After December's Renegade, its Star Wars-themed crossover expansion did even worse than the Edge of Fate and didn't change sales or retention trajectory. Destiny Infinity would have been a relaunch alongside a return to one of the big expansion model Destiny used to have, but the idea fell to the wayside after it was allegedly decided that the costs and risk were too high, especially in the context of support for Marathon. Basically, the model that we had right now, or we're supposed to have, was they were going to release 2 big expansions through the year, and then we'd have 2 smaller ones in between that, so that we'd have content to kind of tide us over. They were talking about going back to the one big expansion model, and that got shot down still. And this wasn't even talking about necessarily launching a Destiny 3, but like was at least going through and reworking a whole bunch of stuff. And possibly another reason why we were talking about Destiny 3 is because the engine that we're using for D2 is still outdated. It was made for the PS4, it was made for the PS3 and Xbox 360 era. Destiny 1
they were using the Destiny 1 engine.
Yeah, and it needs to be seriously updated. Destiny 3 was considered as ever, but things didn't swing that way, and there has been no behind-the-scenes hints that a third Destiny game is coming. With the cost of the game's production cited as the key issue, interestingly, it's thought Marathon's subjective success or failure was not the tipping point of all this. The revelations come a week after Bungie confirmed content updates for its live service shooter would end on June 9th, nearly 9 years after launch. The studio began Halo, which recently released extraction shooter Marathon, said Destiny 2 will remain playable despite active development ending. Dude, that was really fucking poorly worded in that sentence. Destiny 1 launched in September 9th of 2014 for the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. It enjoyed enormous commercial success, but met with a mixed response from critics. As part of a high-profile publishing deal with Call of Duty company Activision, Destiny expansions and updates followed. Destiny 2 launched on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on September 6, 2017, with a PC version following a month later. Behind the scenes, however, tension between Bungie and Activision emerged, and the two companies officially parted ways in January of 2019, ending their 10-year publishing deal 5 years early. With Destiny in its own hands, Bungie self-published the game, but it couldn't escape financial troubles and layoffs as Destiny 2 expansions failed to hit the mark and the player base dwindled. Sony bought Bungie in early 2022 in a deal valued at $3.6 billion, although Sony has admitted the acquisition has yet to pay off, and it recently reported a $765 million impairment loss due to underperformance of Bungie specifically. Extraction shooter Marathon launched early March with a reported budget of more than $250 million. It, too, according to analysts, has failed to meet sales expectations. Destiny fans, distraught over Bungie's decision to end support for the franchise, are planning to try and crash the servers to demonstrate that there's still interest in the game. In a lengthy thread on Reddit, Destiny fan Windsor issued a call to arms for all Destiny players to return on June 9th when the game's final ever content drop arrives. We need to at least smash Marathon's all-time high to show them they made the wrong decision, Windsor wrote, suggesting that this would show Sony that Destiny remains a franchise worth continuing to invest in. It's our last chance to send a message the franchise is still valuable. So Marathon launched in March with a Steam peak of 77,358 players. Its daily peak is now hovering at around 10,000 players, which, funny enough, still lower than Destiny. Like, I don't understand how they're looking at the metrics between these two games and they go in on the one that's actually that's performing worse and has a very niche audience. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that Destiny was insanely popular, but at least its audience draw was larger. The audience pool was bigger. And it was...
You see,
yeah.
When I first heard about Marathon, myself and a lot of other Halo fans were thinking it was Bungie going back to, the roots of the Halo series.
That's what I thought.
And I was kind of excited for it, and then I saw the first trailer for Marathon, and more details came out. I'm like, yeah, no, this is going to crash and burn so fucking hard.
Guys, I want to point out that I don't have any hatred for Marathon. As somebody who plays Destiny and who enjoys Destiny, I'm not here to shit on you if you played Marathon. It's okay. That's fine.
I'm not trying to shit on them either. I'm just coming from a background in the gaming industry, and seeing what type of games sell, what types don't. Marathon was already off to a shaky start, coming in late to the extraction shooter genre, plus using more and more generative AI in it. But I think they backtracked on that.
The reason I'm stating the whole I'm not shitting on them thing is because there is currently a war between Bungie players and Marathon players, and I don't want to get dragged into that. There's a war in the Bungie community.
I completely understand where you're coming from. I'm coming at it from like an analytical standpoint, not a bias.
Yeah. I mean, there's general gamers that are looking at the situation and going, why'd they choose Marathon? That makes no sense, because they're just looking at the metrics and analytics and like, what the fuck?
So, and if you're looking at the analytics and, just good PR, they should have just either shelved Marathon or completely reworked it from the ground up once the PR nightmare of their plagiarism for the art came out.
I was gonna get to that. Yeah, I'm very surprised that Sony's decision was to go with the game where they had art assets just blatantly stolen. Like, guys, this is the game you guys went for. And I'm aware that the art department for Destiny and the art department for Marathon are not the same. They don't necessarily share all the same people. But yeah, dude, I'm not happy with a lot of the build up to Marathon. And I'm not an extraction shooter player, so I knew this wasn't going to be marketed to me. And again, I'm just surprised.
You take a game that's already on shaky ground because one, it's not what they initially led players to believe it was going to be, or gamers initially what it was going to be. Two, it's coming out after so many other extraction shooters that have much higher success, a much stronger support base, and a much stronger player base. And then you throw on the plagiarism scandal on top of that, it's going to tip it over the fence to the people are going to avoid it.
And number four would be you put this out at the end of the trend that you were chasing.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you were. It feels like you retooled Marathon to be chasing trends, and you came in as that trend was dying. And I'll put two more things out there, and this is coming from players of the game. Number one, they are saying that this is straight up PvP. There's no PvE elements to it whatsoever, and it's very sweaty. Like, It's very punishing, and like if you're down for that, cool. But season 2 apparently is supposed to be adding some PvE stuff, more storied content. But people are saying because you have to like in order to get from map to map, like to progressively get towards the ship and find out what the heck has been going on, you have to win matches. So like when you win a match, you get to go. At least this is how I understand it. If you're someone who plays Marathon and I'm wrong about something, feel free to correct me in the comments. You don't need to call me names, first and foremost. I'm going off of what I've heard others talk about that were playing the game, and these are the things that I remember, and I could be mistaken on some of it. Please just, correct me about some things. Don't be a dick about it. That's all. But from my understanding, you kind of have to like win to get to the next area of the map. And then to unlock the final area, which is inside the ship, it's like ultra sweaty and super tough. And like, you can just get murked real quickly and not catch any. And that area is where the predominant, like large bits of lore drops exist, from my understanding. Now, I'm unaware of much of Marathon. I didn't play the original. I did remember back in the days of Halo, people talking about how Halo and Marathon could be connected. We would see. Honestly, when they announced Halo 4, a lot of us thought that they were just kind of doing Marathon, but as Halo 4. So like Marathon would take place after Halo 3. A lot of us thought that's what Halo 4 was going to be. It wasn't, but yeah. Yeah, sadly.
Oh yeah, no. The main reason people thought Marathon and Halo were connected was the Forerunner emblem shows up in Marathon, the original Marathon.
Gotcha.
And the original Marathon came out, I think, in the late 80s, and it was kind of like another first-person Doom type game.
Gotcha. All right, let's move on to the fight taking place between these two. A Destiny 2 versus Marathon civil war is heating up, frustrating many. And I'm not joking about this. This has led to content creators who covered Destiny lore just privating all their videos out of spite. And when they did this, they got threats. Like horrible shit was said to them that I'm not going to repeat here. But yeah, I looked over some of the threats that this person was getting and was like, there is no need for this over a fucking video game. You type this shit out, outing yourself as an absolutely atrocious human being, and it's over a effing video game. Like, yes, I like the game, but it's over an effing video game, guys.
Yeah.
All right. As fans of Destiny 2 grapple with the news that the live game part of the series has run for 11 years, will no longer get new updates after 2 weeks from now, many players are going through various stages of grief, and now a number have hit anger, directed toward one game, and sometimes one community in particular, Marathon. This escalated yesterday when Astacross, the streamer and YouTuber, who has been the biggest content creator in Destiny 2 for quite some time now, published a video expressing extreme anger about the situation, saying that he will no longer play the new Marathon season and even potentially turn down lucrative brand deals from Sony for its part in this. The refrain is simply that he doesn't want Marathon. He wants more Destiny. And it appears like he's going to use his platform to reinforce that point repeatedly, saying he doesn't care if he's going to be petty about it the rest of the year. It is a noteworthy moment given that Astacross is a significant public face for the game and, again, its largest creator. Naturally, this explosive video has divided fans further, with some sympathizing or encouraging his anger, as it reflects their own, while others say that this is making everything worse and comes off as sour grapes, to say the least. But it's not just him. His views are widely held, as are the opposite. And I love this because Paul Tassi, you cheeky little motherfucker. And hello, Cross, if you're reading this in a video, which, yes, he did. And I saw this moment where he read that. He was like, you motherfucker. It's so good. I'll break this into two parts. The facts about Marathon's past and present regarding Destiny 2 and my own take on all this. Significant resources were taken from Destiny 2 in the past few years to develop Marathon. That was dozens, eventually hundreds of employees in the studio that had already shrunk during layoffs. It also included most of the PvP team, and Destiny 2 PvP in particular very clearly suffered because of it. According to reporting from both Jason Schreier and me, the decision was made to forego continuing Destiny 2 to try to make it more approachable for players and instead to reallocate more resources to Marathon while shutting down Destiny 2. This occurred during a time when, even with Destiny 2's worst numbers in the history of the game, it was still bringing in more overall players than Marathon, which is only 3 months old. Marathon will now be Bungie's only functional game going forward. Other Destiny spin-off projects have not been greenlit. The much hoped-for Destiny 3 is neither in production nor greenlit, and Sony reportedly has balked at the idea of its likely cost. This is in the wake of Marathon costing at least $250 million to develop over the years. So with those facts, you may be able to understand the anger of the Destiny community about Marathon being chosen over Destiny 2 to live, or at least to be invested in, as whether or not Marathon survives past a few seasons or a year remains to be seen. But given that this has happened and the current reality, there are really two not great options here. One is that Marathon fails, again, as Bungie's only game now with nothing else greenlit. That could lead to the slashing or shutdown or dissolution of the studio entirely. I believe this is a more likely option than what some people are hoping, that it would let Sony know they made a mistake and then they would pivot to making Destiny 3 after all. That would effectively be throwing many hundreds of millions more at a new Bungie project after 2 had closed/failed, and is exceedingly unlikely. The other is that Marathon over time becomes a hit as it expands and attracts more players. This would keep Bungie afloat as a studio, and it could lead to more investment from Sony rather than the never-ending reductions we keep seeing. And that could include more Destiny content in whatever form that may take. The counter is that Sony would be proven right by the Marathon pick, and they'd only invest more in Marathon. That might be true, but this seems like the least worst option, since the other one could mean Bungie closing altogether. Yeah, I'm going to pour salt on this. I'm going to pour salt all over this option right now. Hey, Apex players, I got a question for you right now. Did you guys, did the numbers and the time that you spent playing Apex Legends, did that lead to Titanfall 3? Anybody? Yeah? Titanfall fans? When you backed Apex Legends, did that do anything to get a Titanfall 3 out the door? Yeah. So this is also wishful thinking. Put the drugs down. This ain't happening. I'm going to tell you what probably is the most likely outcome from this bullshit. Marathon's not going to do much better. The fact that Bungie lied to not only the Destiny community and their players, but also their devs, the fact that more devs are going to get laid off and the team is going to shrink even more, means that a lot of people have lost what little faith and trust I think is still around for Bungie. I think a large portion of that is going to be gone really soon. And it's going to show when things fall off more for Marathon. And what's going to happen is what always happens. Bungie's going to shut down, Sony's going to take over, and they're going to break them up, and they're going to send them to other places. This is essentially Bungie choosing a slow death. That's what I think happened here. And to be fair, I think it's a lot of the higher ups decisions, as well as the fact that their former CEO was an absolute piece of shit. Pete Parsons, with his taking that Sony money and buying a bunch of expensive cars, inviting his employees from Bungie over to see all the expensive cars that he bought with the money that should have been going to them, and then firing them shortly after. Fuck you, you piece of shit. Yeah, I'm not going to censor myself on that one. Fuck you. And then he rips his golden parachute and gets the fuck out of there after he sells Bungie to Sony for an unbelievably expensive amount that Bungie was frankly not worth. Apparently, what he did is he had like 4 or 5 projects beside Destiny 2 in development to inflate the value of Bungie for the sale. What a piece of shit. But yeah, I think this is the end of Bungie. I think they've chosen death by 1,000 cuts, and this just happens to be 998. They've still got 2 more to go. But yeah. Anyway, continuing on. Some people want that. They want Bungie to be punished, both for how the game has been neglected in favor of Marathon since the final shape, especially, and for the fact that Marathon now has Sony's favor while their favorite game is dead. I'm not telling anyone what to feel. I too have that anger, as this is the most significant game of my entire career, my life, really, and losing it is devastating. But trying to be pragmatic, I don't think that wishing death upon Marathon helps the situation at this point. I don't need to wish death upon Marathon. I don't have any ill will towards the community or the game. I just, going off of a logical and numbers standpoint, the death of Marathon is just gonna happen. It is what it is.
Not a matter of if, but a matter of when.
Exactly. That's just kind of, I'm not predicting anything. I just know how to read numbers. That's it. That's all there is to it. I'm not Nostradamus here. And I am going to give my proper opinion. So yeah, this is me actually replying. And guys, a lot of the time I don't go on Twitter and reply. I especially don't reply to people like Paul Tassi and Forbes. I just don't typically do that, but I replied this time because I wanted to give my thoughts on this, and it was enough that I had to break it into 2 parts. But I will put this as plainly as I can. I'm not mad that Bungie is ending Destiny content. Honestly, I was kind of expecting it, but I didn't expect them to just cut it off right there, especially considering how they were still having their own developers were still working on content for releases for this year and next year. They were still working on the upcoming releases for the last 5 months while the higher-ups knew that they were ending content for Destiny. And they still had them working on content for updates that were never going to happen. That's where my real anger lies. So I'm mad that they actively hid it from us and the dev team and lied to our faces. I'm not an extraction shooter player, so Marathon was not appealing to me. Part of me feels that Marathon succeeding after this is rewarding this type of behavior. I'm not wishing for Marathon to burn to the ground, but I also think a lesson needs to be learned here, and I believe it won't be learned unless something dramatic happens. Those are my thoughts. So I'm not sitting here saying I want to torch Bungie or I hope that Marathon burns in flames. But guys, you didn't start off well with Marathon, and first impressions really do matter. And we in the gaming community are sick and tired of this bullshit, and we're not going to take it anymore. That is why AAA is dying and indie is rising. We'll get to this in a moment, but like, the reason why Subnautica is doing amazingly and the reason that Bungie is crashing and burning right now with its community has a lot to do with the fact that one listens to their community more than the other. And I'm not saying that Bungie as a whole doesn't listen to their community. They've done a pretty good job, at least on the dev side and the community support side. They do a pretty good job with that. But the higher ups and the people at Sony, they just don't seem to understand. It's like they have earplugs or blockers, or they think they know best, and they're right and can't ever be wrong, and they don't want to listen to opinions that are differing from theirs. So, yeah, this is. I don't think it's laziness. I think this is willful neglect at this point. I think it's very intentional. I think some people are going to cash out and have a nice payday when Bungie burns to the ground. Or some employees at Bungie, let me clarify. That's what I believe this is. I believe some people up there are also looking for their golden parachute. Maybe that's the case. Maybe I'm just like venting frustrations. I don't know, but that is my speculation. That and my opinion, and you don't have to agree with it. It is what it is. But again, a lot of people are shouting this out. Sony is wrong to take Destiny 2 support down to absolute zero. Destiny 2 fans are both celebrating and mourning the recent set of reveals that shows that the game's final update in June is shaping up to be its best in years, bringing back loads of beloved loot, making huge changes to core systems, and in general, granting fans wishes they'd requested for ages. And then it's over. Destiny players will get to experience these additions for the indefinite future. The servers of the game are not shutting off, and Destiny 1 will still be Destiny 1 still being online indicates they won't. But whether it's weeks or months, the game will inevitably dip below its current record low player counts, with nothing at all on the way to potentially increase that. Truly nothing. Destiny 2's comms account confirmed that this is the last update in almost any sense. They said there will be small bug fixing patches, but no one is even showing up for something as mild as a balance pass on the gear that's about to be buffed and nerfed, apparently for the final time. While fine, we can acknowledge that large-scale support for Destiny 2 is ending. Acting like the series' Anthem or Marvel's Avengers hitting a wall with absolutely zero support in the future is a mistake. This is an 11-year franchise, and even if it's time to wind Destiny 2 down in favor of other projects, cutting out the entire team, which will likely happen through large-scale layoffs or migration over to Marathon, is abandoning what remains a valuable IP, which only peaked in attention and player count a mere 2 years ago, and any significant declines since then were largely due to the drastic pulling of resources. Bad decisions like the portal would not have been made had there been the support from further seasons or episodes. Some sort of team kept on to manage Destiny 2 in its maintenance mode seems like the bare minimum Sony should be giving the game. A small update here and there, some new loot, a new activity from time to time, some story beats. We're not talking expansions, full seasons, cinematics here, but the game now moving to bug fixes with players meant to be grateful they're leaving the server still on is awful. My hope is that there's some way Sony realizes this is what should be done. I'm reminded of the not live Cyberpunk 2077, where CDPR repeatedly said there would be no more updates for the game, but kept periodically sneaking them in regardless. Some have pointed to Terraria as another example, the difference there being that those games did not suffer hundreds of layoffs after they were finished, and some, like Cyberpunk, were able to bring in support studios to help. Sony seems like it would offer Destiny none of that. I've said before that I think it's a mistake to throw what appear to be all Bungie's remaining eggs in the Marathon basket, especially so given what's coming in this new Destiny patch. But if we're acknowledging Destiny 2 is never going to receive the content updates it used to, giving it nothing seems pretty absurd in the context of the series and fan base. But I do not expect Sony to change its mind regardless of a 300k signature petitions or mass movements to attempt to hit high player counts on June 9th, which is a shame and a mistake. I also want to point something else out, guys, about this petition real quick. I know, I'm not expecting anything to happen, but if you will recall, There was a petition on change.org that happened a while back for World of Warcraft. And it got over 200,000 signatures. And they brought that petition in to the higher ups. And lo and behold, the shit that they petitioned for happened. Now, I'm not going to say what specifically it was because I don't remember. I don't remember if it was like an old game mode that they brought back or if it was like content that they wanted, or I don't know the specifics of it. But I do remember that being a thing. And it is possible. Guys, it is possible. If you make a big enough stink, you can change thoughts and ideas about something. That being said, I don't know if 300K is enough at this day and age to really matter, but God damn it, I'm proud of everybody who signed up on there, because on a change.org petition, you actually have to put your real name and be verified. So when you're signing that, you're doing so with no anonymity whatsoever. And like, there are people that don't play Destiny anymore that have signed this because they're just like, this is ridiculous. I'm not a big fan of this, but they don't like decisions like this happening in the gaming environment because this makes things worse for gaming in general. It creates a bad atmosphere in the gaming community overall. And so to everybody that signed it, thank you for your support. Even if I don't think it's going to matter in the long run, I appreciate the effort that you put into it. That's all the articles I had to cover. Just know that the team is still putting out info out there. And funny enough, the Destiny 2 team on Twitter has actually kind of been popping off and having fun. It's like they don't give a fuck anymore. So they're just straight up telling people when people are like, hey, what I really want is this. And they're just like, done. It's just like, wait, what? Like, people are losing their shit because they're like, I want this thing, I want that thing. And they're like, come back June 9th. You'll have it. It's like, oh my God, they're just spilling all the tea. It's beautiful. You can tell that the devs and the community managers are just like, they've kind of thrown their hands up and are like, screw it, we're going to do what we want because we're probably not going to be here in a couple months anyway. And also, yeah, they just like, if this is the end, they want to go out on a high note, and I don't blame them for that. And I don't blame the dev team who have actively been working so hard. Like, so much stuff has come out about the devs saying that they have brought major concerns that the community has had up higher management and talked with higher management about it and how important it is to the community and how important it is to the continued longevity of the game. And they were shot down. Those plans were shot down. And even though a lot of those plans wouldn't have taken much to implement or correct. Like, it would not have taken much time, effort, and resources to do that. They also brought up the whole FOMO thing was hurting, but the higher ups said, hey, we got to keep it up because you got to keep people wanting to come back to the game. And they're like, no, it's hurting the onboarding process and new players are going to get lost. Or they have to watch fucking lore videos on YouTube in order to understand what the hell is going on. And then, of course, there's the fact that even before Final Shape came out, a lot of the dev teams, different areas of the dev teams, were pushing to get started on a Destiny 3 immediately after the Final Shape, which is what I think should have happened. Honestly, they come out, they reveal the Final Shape. They do that big Final Shape announcement because at the beginning we had Luke Smith up there saying it's not the end of Destiny, and we were like, all right, cool, and they show all this cool stuff, and then at the end they go, and now we want to give you a little look as to what's coming up ahead, and they do the announcement about the 3 episodes that follow after, and then they go, Destiny 3. Dude, we'd have lost our shit. A lot of us, we don't give a fuck. We'll sit here and wait a couple of years if we know we're going to get content and we know that content is going to have a lot of the things that we've been asking about. It's like, because the devs want to show, hey, we can implement this on a more updated engine and fix a lot of the mistakes that we're stuck with. All right, I've bitched about this long enough. If you have anything else to say, go for it.
I am tired of hearing about AAA developers not telling their staff that they're being fired.
Yeah.
And that staff have to find out through like Twitter or news articles or some shit.
Or just the simple fact that, like, hey, all the stuff that you've been working on for the last 5 months meant absolutely nothing because we're not doing it. So you just wasted your whole fucking time. But at least you got paid, you know? All the stuff that you were really excited about and you poured your soul into, yeah, it's not happening. What a big slap in the face that is, man. And that's what has me the most upset. I'm mad for the devs that got blindsided about this. And please understand, not everybody who knew was on board with this either. There were people that were told about this in January and February that were begging to tell more of the development team about this because this, one, it wasn't fair to all the people working on content that was never going to see the light of day, and two, it would have given people time to start looking for employment elsewhere as soon as like all this shit came out. I'm really, really mad at the way that this was handled. So to the people whose decision this was to keep this whole thing secret from your own dev team, fuck you. Makes me want to send out those penis-shaped gummies so I could say eat a bag of dicks. But that'd be a waste of money. And good gummies, honestly. All right, you want to talk about something fun? And
I would spend the money to ship them tubes of glitter or packages of glitter.
All right, you want to talk about something fun at least?
Glitter is an eldritch horror. It always shows back up when you think you got it all.
It absolutely is, yeah. All right, you want to talk about something fun?
Yeah.
All right. I'm reading this next bit with a smile on my face, guys. Subnautica 2 has sold so well that Krafton has to pay that $250 million earnout to the devs. Oh my goodness. This feels like
Blue.
Yeah, this feels like the happy ending at the end of a really tragic tale. And because you said that, the only good blue was a dead blue. God damn it. Subnautica 2 has sold so well. Yeah. Subnautica 2 has sold so well that publisher Krafton has reportedly agreed to pay the $250 million earnout to the developers, a bonus that was at the heart of its high-profile legal dispute with the fired Unknown Worlds leadership. The underwater adventure has sold a mammoth 4 million copies since its early access on May 14th. Guys, it's only 2 weeks old. That's beautiful. But its development was turbulent, with Krafton firing Unknown Worlds CEO Ted Gill and other senior team members in the summer of last year. At the time, Krafton said the game's launch had also been delayed, something it blamed on Gill, even though its team had been working towards an early access release that would have seen them eligible for that $250 million bonus. Gill and his former teammates immediately launched a lawsuit against Krafton, suggesting they were ousted to avoid that bonus being paid, while Krafton hit back and said that the staff had resorted to litigation to demand a multi-million-dollar payout they haven't earned. Krafton also accused the staff it fired of having stolen documents in anticipation of subsequent legal action, muddying the waters over their exit. In March, Krafton was ordered to reinstate Gill and extend the proposed $250 million bonus to the staff in one of the most dramatic legal rulings the video game industry has ever seen. And today, reports coming out of South Korean business press indicate that Krafton has now agreed to pay the bonus. According to estimates from Alinea Analytics, Subnautica 2 generated $100 million in just 1 week. And it is 2026's fastest selling Steam game so far. The Korean Economic Daily said Krafton now faces that $250 million bill after agreeing to pay $3.12 dollars for every 1 cent, or up to $250 million, to Unknown World's former shareholders every time the studio's revenue topped $69.8 million a month since the Korean game developer acquired the U.S. firm in 2021. $250 million is equivalent to about 35% of Krafton's operating profit last year. IGN has asked Krafton for comment. The legal battle between Krafton and the Unknown World shareholders revealed a number of shocking revelations around the South Korean company's internal actions in the run-up to Subnautica 2's release. For example, as internal projections showed, Subnautica 2 looked on course to trigger the earnout. Krafton's chief executive, Chung Hung Kim, believed it was a bad deal and felt taken advantage of, according to the ruling. Kim was warned by his legal department that the earnout would still need to be paid, even if there was a dismissal with cause of Unknown World's leadership, co-founders Charlie Cleveland and Max McGuire, and chief executive Ted Gill. He was also warned it would expose Krafton to lawsuit and reputation risk. Kim then turned to ChatGPT, the AI-powered chatbot built by OpenAI, for help. Vice Chancellor Lori Will of the Court of Chancery in Delaware said in the ruling, ChatGPT initially responded that the earnout would be difficult to cancel, but later, at ChatGPT's suggestion, Kim formed an internal task force dubbed Project X. The task force mandate was to either negotiate a deal on the earnout or execute a takeover of Unknown Worlds, Will stated. They looked to buy time. Over the next month, Krafton followed most of ChatGPT's recommendations, Will wrote. I love that when he first asked, even the AI was like, nah, bro, this legal document is way too tight. You shouldn't do this. And he's like, how about I do anyway?
If it wasn't for like it actually going to court,
Yeah.
I would have thought that this was like a fucking staged event to drive up revenue and drive up hype for the game.
Oh, yeah. Goddamn. This is so goddamn good. I think another thing is, obviously, there's a lot of people that are fans of the original Subnautica and saw like the trailers and everything for Subnautica 2 and were like, holy crap, this looks really good. But I think there's also, and I think there's a mix of these two as well. We're definitely in that category. There's also a group of people that just were like, that saw all the BS going and they were like, oh my God, I can say with my wallet, fuck you to a publisher. And that's kind of what it felt like. The gaming community came together for one glorious event to just give the middle finger to a publishing company because it felt like we finally had a voice that mattered. And so we can make you fuckers pay $250 million. And as two people who bought the game, have played the game, and have enjoyed the game and been very impressed, even with like this like early access version that we got. And it's had 2 updates since we started playing it so early on. Guys, I don't know about you, but Fenris and I think are pretty fucking proud of the fact that we contributed to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I'm very proud of the fact that I went to the out of bounds, got attacked, and swam out there and retrieved my tadpole without dying, running away from those fucking creatures.
The Shiver Leviathans, baby. The Shiver Leviathans. They are a force not to be reckoned with. I have also encountered them. I was fortunate enough to have had the extension to my sonic gun or whatever. I went out to get some extra resources that were on the other side of that red screen. I went, I shot. I backed the hell up immediately as soon as I fired because I knew what was coming. I heard the music kick in. And I was like, nope. And all the resources come back to me, and I got onto the other side of that wall just in time because they swam right by. I was like, I wasn't close enough that they took a snap at me, but they were definitely, cruising along at that like cruising speed they have around there.
Also, the distraction flare did work for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, distraction flare
And
does
it bought
work
me
for a
enough
moment.
time to get my tadpole through that fucking barrier.
Do not sleep on flares. Flares are so good as distraction things, especially when you get to places like the hot zone and around certain other the distraction flares work good in the metal farm, as I found out. They're good for getting certain those big round fuckers away. I need to look at the map, the updated map that they have, that shows like real time where everything is because of the updates. So I need to find that map again and see what all
that
has
is
changed.
one thing I wish they would add, or somebody.
I
in the
want a
workshop
map.
would add,
Yeah,
is a
please.
fucking map.
Please.
I don't know how many times I've gotten lost. I'm like, where the fuck am I?
I have used the interactive map online just to kind of like figure it out. Like I know the general layout of the world as it is right now. And guys, they're going to add more biomes and deeper areas later on. So, holy crap.
I think my favorite part of playing Subnautica 2 so far is when I was in the voice chat with a couple people, you included.
Yeah.
One of the people in the chat was like, I've been spending hours trying to find silver. I'm like, I came across it accidentally within my first 20 minutes. And he got so pissed.
I was like, wait, what? Also, this is also because we never got around to doing this. This is also kind of our review of Subnautica, as two people who played it and like really like have our own thoughts and opinions formed at this point in time with Subnautica. And guys, keep in mind, yes, we are very, very much aware that this is super early access. But going off of other games that I've played in early access, holy shit, Subnautica is so well polished right now. Subnautica 2 feels very well polished, even though I know, yeah, there's bugs and stuff that are in there that are going to get patched, and they patched them pretty quick. They are doing their best to get everything balanced and patched as fast as possible. But like, oh my God, the sheer amount of story content that is existing this early on. This feels like I got almost half of the story content from the first Subnautica in just the early access launch version. Holy cow. I was very surprised and very impressed. Oh yeah, I'm also watching Neebs Gaming give their thoughts and impressions on Subnautica 2 because I was really looking forward to that. Guys, if you have not checked out Neebs Gaming's their Subnautica playlist where they're role playing as different characters, one stranded on the original ocean planet 4546B, and like people and a bunch of a-holes in Altera that are just the worst employees ever. You guys need to check that out. It's super, super funny. I'm really hoping that they do something similar with Subnautica 2. That'd be great. Final thoughts and opinions, Fenris?
Fucking great. I can't wait till they add more so I can figure out what the hell's happening.
Oh yeah, we're absolutely diving in, pun very much intended, when they give the updates. Oh shit, that's the one thing I haven't tested. I'm wondering if flares work on the Collector Leviathan. I haven't checked. I need to check on that.
That is a good question.
Yeah. Guys, we will die for science.
I mean, we just get reprinted. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It also brings up I also like that the reprinting aspect, the Ship of Theseus kind of view of this. Like, are we still the same as what we were, or have we been reprinted so much that we're no longer who we once were when we started? You know, the Ship of Theseus.
How many times have we been reprinted, and how many times have we been reset?
Yes. Also, are we being lied to and gaslit by former colonists that have left behind stuff? And the AI, has it been 27 to 30 years since the last colonists were on this planet, or has it been significantly longer? Because there's contradicting stuff going on story-wise, timeline-wise in story stuff. And when it was brought up, and they were like, "Hey, this could possibly be a bug," they're like, "Nope, not a bug." And when they said that, the entire like lore community that is building for Subnautica 2, just immediately that you could feel their eyes widen. And you're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, that's so cool. I'm telling you, man. Unknown Worlds, man, they're popping off. I'm so happy with the state of Subnautica 2 right now. Guys, if you haven't gotten it and played it, please do. Also, they did introduce a balance or a performance patch for, I think it was the epic settings for Subnautica 2. So, yeah, they're trying to. Every update they're going to be trying to improve the performance of the game overall, so it's not as taxing on your PC. I know Blebby had trouble with that when we were trying to play together. It slowed everything down on her computer. Whew, something fierce. All right, we got 2 more pieces of news to cover. This is interesting because I'm not used to seeing trailers for One Piece now that they're doing seasonal stuff. We're getting trailers for certain parts of One Piece, and I'm like, oh, this is stuff I've only read in the manga. This is gonna look badass. So, without further ado, well, Fenris, if you don't want to see this, you don't have to.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, you don't have to. I don't want to spoil any of this stuff. So if you want to,
I just can't wait for next year when the One Piece starts, so I can get the actual story of One Piece.
Yeah. Well, yeah, kind of more in line with the manga. Yeah, I'd agree. All right.
I mean, it's the One Piece for a reason. It's not One Piece. It's the actual One Piece.
Alrighty. So guys, I'm going to watch this. I'm not going to say too much about it. I'm just curious. It's only 30 seconds. It's a teaser. It is teasing stuff for Elbath, and I don't want to spoil stuff for Fenris, so that's why he doesn't have to watch or listen to any
more
of this
than
stuff.
you already have.
Yeah, shut up. I know. I'm not feeling guilty anymore.
You didn't feel guilty when you first started it either.
And I don't feel guilty now. Ha! I felt guilty for a little while, man, but I can only have guilt for so long. I'm ADHD. I have other emotions I have to focus on.
いう人物を探している。
生きていられたら私が相手になってやる。
質が高い下地人だ。
状況と任務を聞こうか。
上からの指令だ。
つまりてめえら天竜人か。
黙って聞いておれば。比例の極み。
Okay, yeah, that looked pretty good. It's interesting hearing the voices of some of the manga characters now. So I have voices to associate with characters that I've only seen in the manga. All right, it's safe to look again because it's not on the screen.
Okay.
All right. So I definitely wanted to get your opinion on this. Voice actor Kinjiro Tsuda sues TikTok for alleged unauthorized generative AI use of his voice. Yeah, I'm absolutely on board with his lawsuit there, and I hope he wins. Japanese news website Yomiuri Shimbun online reported Saturday that voice actor Kinjiro Tsuda filed a lawsuit against the operator of the video sharing app TikTok for posting videos that allegedly used AI to imitate his voice without permission and demanded the removal of the videos. Tsuda filed the lawsuit at Tokyo District Court in November last year, with 3 closed-door pre-trial proceedings held so far. The pre-trial proceedings are held to discuss and clarify the points at issue and the legal basis of the parties' claims. The first oral argument of the case is expected to take place this summer. According to the lawsuit, an unidentified individual owns the TikTok account that posted the videos, which include narrated urban legends and trivia. The account posted at least 188 videos between July 2024 and the filing of the lawsuit. According to information released by the poster on another site, the revenue from the videos is estimated between 500,000 and 750,000 yen, or about $31,040 to $4,396 per month. Suda's team, the plaintiff, argues that the videos feature narration created using AI, imitating Suda's characteristic smooth, low-pitched, and deep, husky voice. They claim that the videos are misleading viewers to believe that the narration is Suda's voice, thus attracting them. Suda's camp seeks the removal of the videos based on the Unfair Competition Prevention Act and the right of publicity, which is the right to protect the image of public figures such as celebrities and entertainers. TikTok, the defendant, argues that the voice used in the narration is a universal male voice created by training an AI to generate a friend's voice, which was clearly stated on the poster's external website. TikTok claims that there was no confusion and therefore no violation of the law. TikTok also denies any infringement of publicity rights, arguing that most of the comments on the videos were opinions and reactions regarding the content, and the viewers were not drawn in by the voice of the narration. Tsuda's lawyer, Kei Hirano, stated in an interview with Yomiuri Shimbun that if unauthorized production is left unchecked, it could hinder the development of the voice acting industry. Hirano added that they hope to clarify the scope of illegality and encourage voice actors to exercise their rights by winning the case. TikTok's Japanese subsidiary stated that it is responding appropriately to the lawsuit and will refrain from giving further comments. Suda is known for voicing popular characters such as Kento Nanami in Jujutsu Kaisen, Seto Kaiba in Yu-Gi-Oh!, Tatsu in The Way of the House Husband, Sadaharu Inui in The Prince of Tennis, and Hyakunosuke Ogata in Golden Kamui, among others. Alrighty. There you are. Where do you guys fall on this? I'm interested to hear your thoughts and opinions here. Fenris, what be yours?
I really hope he wins, because
I do too.
one, that would set a very nice precedent for future cases like this. Two, it's kind of the kick in the ass the industry needs to start taking legal action. And three, fuck TikTok.
Yeah. Also, guys, understand we both knew that we were going to have a bias about this particular topic because we're voice actors. And while we may not be like of that popular variety that we would have AI imitations of our voices done, because I don't think our content goes that
I have
far.
had AI imitations of my voice.
Fuck. Guys, you got to understand, it only takes like 3 words for AI to copy our voices and mannerisms. Like, AI is scary in like how quick it can learn. So, yeah, I'm definitely on board with this. I hope he wins his lawsuit. That's basically it. Yeah, and I'm kind of on board with like I don't care about TikTok, but I'm an old man yelling at a cloud. I already understand that at this point.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I like being able to yell at clouds at any given day.
Fucking cloud had it coming.
Damn right.
All right. But that's it for us, guys. This was the news. These were our thoughts and opinions. We really would love to hear yours, whether you're telling us now in the chat or you're telling us later in the comments. We would love to hear what you have to say on any of these topics. Please let us know. And if you like this content, give us a like, give us a sub. By the way, guys, that's something that I learned that's really, really important. You may go doom scrolling or checking out videos in the background and like them, but if you're not subscribed to them, it can hurt us in some ways because advertisers look at sub count. If they look at your subscriber count. They also look at the views. So guys, the more views we get, the better. Please encourage people to check out this content if you like it. That being the case, really, really appreciate you guys coming by. This has been Anime Church, the church where you can cosplay and no one will judge you for it. I'm Richie Roberts, your Minister of Science and Technology.
I'm Fender Siren, your patron saint to snackers and alcohol.
And that's it for us. Have yourselves a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow with more light novel readings. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.